Hey guys, Cinta here, and today I wanted to do a sort of informal review of Anthem. I'm just going to be going about my usual playing, but then I'm going to talk about just different aspects of the game and how I feel about it and my hopes for the future. So first, I want to go and say that I really enjoy playing Anthem. Anthem is a very fun game, in my opinion. Um, there are definitely a lot of issues for sure, and I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with the game, and there's definitely things that the game should not have launched with and changes. However, even with all the issues, which I do believe there are multiple, um, the game is still fun. I still enjoy the game. I have, I don't even know how many hours I have to look again, but probably about 140 to 50 hours or more. And I think if a game can do that, have me play that, especially with the amount of content that Anthem currently has, I think they're doing something right. Now, again, there are definitely some issues that I want to go over, but first let me go over a couple things. Um, I really enjoy the skills, like for the storm, for instance, the focus seals, blast seals. I like the builds you can make. And I knew how the game was going to be at least at launch because we already knew how much content was going to be in there. It said there was going to be three strongholds. There's going to be free play, legendary contracts. That's pretty much it, and we already knew that before launch. Now, what we didn't know, of course, was their roadmap, and then when they put out the roadmap, we didn't know, when the stuff would be. So they showed like the different acts, and then they showed Act One and everything, the different updates that would be in Act One. But nobody knew if it, was going to be all in March because it said it was going to start in March. I was expecting, I wasn't, I was pretty sure that all those updates weren't going to be in March because I mean, I've never seen a game do something like that, have three updates like that all within the same month. But I didn't think that they were going to be spread out among 3 months. I didn't know we were gonna have to wait till May for the Cataclysm. That is definitely too long. But I can't say for sure how March and April are going to be because we don't know, even with the details they gave, how you know how much content that's really going to bring in terms of replayability. But the reason why I enjoy the game, the reason why I bought the game and why I want to play it, is for just things like this. The building aspect. Not even taking into account these extra bonus effects that you see, just the skills themselves. So, for instance, for Storm, there's so many different builds you can make just for the Storm Javelin alone, and there's four different javelins. If I want, the current build I'm using is a fire build. I'm using 10,000 Suns and Venomous Blaze, and I can just do all the fire stuff and build towards fire. My components, um, there is a fire component that doesn't work right now, but I can build just for that. If I want to build for an ice build, I can have like frost shards, this chaotic rhyme, and you know, hailstorm's renewal or winter's wrath. And then the bonus effects, once you get masterwork and legendary, the bonus effects are just most of the time are amazing. Yes, the skill itself and the weapons are the same, but the bonuses that they give are game changing at times. Like being able to apply acid after 3 hits. It's not a huge change, but it is nice to put acid on people and do that extra damage. Or the huge stacking buff. Like I just love 10,000 Suns. I have to give credit to BioWare when they deserve it. Like the abilities here are really fun to use. 10,000 Suns, just burning orb, even without 10,000 Suns. I love the animation, how it feels, the impact of charging up that fireball and then throwing it at an enemy. I can literally just float in the air all day long during a mission or whatever and just spam burning orb until I can't anymore, and I'd be satisfied. And then the 10,000 Suns version of it gives me a stacking buff, and it's huge. And then the combo detonations are so fun. I never get tired of comboing. But just besides the fire, Winter's Wrath is nice. Again, nothing huge, but if I defeat an enemy from above, then it refills it. hovering with the lightning strike, ponder infinity, increase electric damage. Throwing two things out. Like some of these abilities, they don't do too much different, but they're still very impactful. And again, it kind of varies. And then you got components. You have six different components that you can equip, but then there's even more that you can actually choose from. I can't remember exactly, about eight or nine, somewhere between somewhere between 8 and 10, I think, that you can choose from. And that alone gives you huge build potential. Again, for Storm, if I want to do all fire, I can just pick the fire one instead of one of these when it starts working. If I want to do just ice, which I don't have the component for yet, but there's an ice component. Actually, Mark of Ruin gives you the ice bonus, but that's another story. Or I can go with electric, and I can get, and this one has sniper rifle weak point kills, increase electric damage. So then I can build towards electric and then kick sniper rifles. Or I can combine them. I can get an ice and a fire one, or ice and lightning, whatever. There's a just one character. There's so many different options, and that's one of my favorite things to do in video games, which is why I enjoy this game so much. I like to try out different things, try out different builds, combine different stuff to figure out, how it'll work together. That's why I liked Breach and was playing that. That's why I like doing competitive Pokemon because I like making, I like building up the Pokemon. I like coming up with teams and move sets and stuff. So that for me is the game right there. Um, getting the in-game gear, trying out the different abilities, combining them, and then going out and trying them out. And there's enough for me to be satisfied for a while because again, there's four different javelins, and I actually like playing most of them. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the weapons. Now, I do agree, weapons are kind of a secondary thing in this game, and that's pretty fine. Um, After playing, I like the abilities, and I use the abilities, and I just use the weapons as secondary. However, once you get Masterworks and Legendary weapons, they are game changers. Yeah, the weapon is still the same, like this Truth of Tarsus. Yes, it's still a Devastator. It's going to shoot just like a Devastator. It's not going to feel any different. But the bonus effect is still game changing. Being able to hit weak points and combo chain, I mean chain combo with a gun. That can make me change my build completely. If I was set up on doing certain detonators, I can use my gun now to do it, and I can have like more primers or something. That changes the game. Um, Another one that I liked, one that I got early, the one most people know about, Thunderbolt of Yavinia. Shooting this, it's a semi-automatic rifle. It shoots fairly quickly. It has a 33% chance to deal large electric damage. This is one of the most fun guns that I've had and played in this game and most games. It still shoots just like a regular scout, but that lightning bolt, every time that comes down, it's so satisfying. The animation, it just shreds shields and the sound. And then when you get just back to back thunderbolts coming down, that's really cool. That changes just a regular average gun to something that's really fun to use. And then the ice gun. I use this almost all the time on all my characters now. Ice is so good in this game, and just being able to freeze people like this with a gun is fantastic. You know, that lets me do these other types of builds like fire builds or electric builds or whatever, and still be able to contribute greatly by freezing enemies. And freezing them again can set me up for combos. So, I mean, I could talk about this all day, so I'm not going to go too much more into just the different build options and stuff. But the main thing is, I think that the core gameplay is definitely there. I don't get tired of flying. I don't get tired of combat. There's many different things that I can try out. But there are some serious issues that definitely need to be addressed. One, look at this. You don't see a stat screen, do you? You don't see any type of thing. Look at all these components. What is this? This is a lot of different bonuses. This is fantastic. I wish I could see just an overall screen showing, my bonuses. Like, okay, increase elemental damage by 35%, decrease physical damage, and then I got weapons that do things. This gives me elemental damage. This gives me physical damage for this gun. So I have to, in order to actually know everything that I'm doing, I have to make it like a spreadsheet or Word document. I have to do all of this myself to figure out what kind of bonuses I'm getting. When they should have a stat screen here that just shows that. Whenever, all the components that I have, add up all that stuff so I can see directly how this is being applied. I look at an ability here, um, like this one, increases the elemental damage by 75%. It would be fantastic if not only in the stat screen, right here on the skill itself, if it gives an extra 75% elemental damage, reflect that in the damage portion. It says 223, but it's stronger than that. So I have to do the math myself, and like it just becomes more of a chore to try and figure out everything that all your abilities and weapons and stuff are being put together. So to the point where it's like I don't really want to bother with that. I'll look for the stats that I want, but I'm not gonna do the math to try and actually combine everything. So that's something that's huge. One of the most that's probably the most baffling thing in my opinion for this game. Why is there no stat screen, and why are some of these stats not um, explained? Some of them are self-explanatory. Repair amount, shield delay, ammo, stuff like that. They don't ever say what luck is. We figured out that luck is pretty much uh, magic find. Like it increases the chance that you'll get loot and the rarity of the loot. But that's it. Uh, we don't we just pretty much had to figure everything out on our own. And some of these stats should be explained. I'm actually going to play Ranger. It's one of my least played one. I'm going to go do some strongholds, trying to get some abilities. But anyway, yeah, just the stat screen. Like, why is that not in this game? In a game that's so big on loot, not only that, all the extra bonuses you can get beyond the set, bonuses that are on there. That should have been day one. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Walking around in Fort Tarsus, really slow. I'm not sure why it's in first person, but yeah, there we go. What else? So loot is a bit of a problem. I don't have all this game time because I wanted to get loot. I have all this game time because I just really enjoy the game. But there are some people that probably have more game time than they would just because the loot drops are terrible. So here's the thing about the loot drops and how stingy they are with Masterworks. So Masterwork and Legendaries are pretty similar in every way. The only difference between Masterwork and Legendary is the Legendaries have a higher stat, um, higher stats and the power level. So a legendary at level 30 right now. A legendary's let's say like a legendary weapon is 47, and then a masterwork weapon is 45. And of course the stats will be different. I only have one legendary weapon, which is the Truth of Tarsus. I think I'll go and craft a Masterwork Truth of Tarsus so I can actually compare them, but it's not a huge difference. But legendaries are still higher. If you have the same rolled Masterwork weapon as the same rolled legendary weapon, that legendary weapon is going to be better. And you need those higher gear, just weapons, components, everything, to do higher content. Like Masterwork, or not Masterwork, Grandmaster 3 recommends 500, you know, power level, suit level, whatever it's called in this game. And the only way to get that is to have multiple legendaries. Like I think I think I'm like 488 with one legendary weapon equipped and everything else masterwork. I think it's 488, somewhere between that 48 and 490. So yeah, you're gonna need multiple legendary weapons and multiple legendary pieces of gear, and they're pretty rare. So my point of saying all this is Masterworks are right below that, and Masterworks should be frequent. Like as many times as you get an epic piece of gear or lower, you should be getting Masterworks. Not saying you should only get Masterworks because you do need, at the very least, you need epics for making consumables. But legendaries are the full end game. Like you can't craft legendaries. You can't They're really low drop rates. So Masterworks should be frequent. You can craft Masterworks, even if people are just given a bunch of Masterworks, they're not going to stop playing the game. That's not going to make the game any less. Even if you're trying to do it to mask the little bit of content right now, it doesn't matter. Masterworks are not the end game, and you can craft them. They should just give out. I mean, again, not just give away things, but just make them drop more frequently. Because if I get a bunch of Masterworks, like let's say for a stronghold, for instance, once we finish this first part and we get the chest, if the chest gave like mostly all Masterworks, or at least like 3 or 4 Masterworks, I can't remember how many things you get, but mostly Masterworks from the chest, that's not going to make me run out of content or get all the items too quickly. Because for one, you can repeatedly get the same item. I got the same weapon actually early in the game 3 times in a row. When getting the abilities, that you get for guaranteed at the end of a stronghold, I got the same ability 3 games in a row. So because of that, and because of the fact that even if I got all the Masterworks that I wanted and I'm just sitting there trying to grind for the right stats, legendaries are still going to be that grind. Let's say I have a full thing of Masterworks, right? And now it's like, okay, now what? I don't need Masterworks anymore, at least for this character. Then I'm going to start trying to get legendaries, and legendaries are much harder to get. And that's when you could, start going on to other difficulties. So getting a bunch of Masterworks is a good thing for the game, solely because Masterworks and legendaries are one, they're pretty similar, and legendaries are still going to be the end game no matter what. Your end goal is going to be to get legendaries. So Masterworks just need to drop more frequently. And that's another thing I want to talk about is the difficulty. Right now, there's no real point in playing higher than Grandmaster 1. Grandmaster 2 is still doable once you have, competent team, decent gear, get all your Masterwork gear, have the right stuff, know what you're doing. You can do it. It's not that hard. The problem is it just takes too long and it's not worth the effort. Playing Grandmaster 2 isn't really going to give you, it's supposed to give you a higher chance. And I don't know if it's just a really slight chance or what, but all the times that I've played Grandmaster 2, I haven't noticed much of a difference. Every once in a while I might get an extra, like overall I might have gotten an extra 1 or 2 Masterworks, but none of my legendaries have come from Grandmaster 2. And Grandmaster 3 is, I don't even know how hard that is. Like that's probably insane right now. And it's not meant to be done, with the gear that we have, and that's fine. But Grandmaster 2 at least should be more accessible. It just takes too long for not a good enough reward. So I think if that was higher, then that would make things a little bit better. Maybe make it a guaranteed, legendary when you complete, a Grandmaster 2 stronghold or something like that. Like I don't know. Something needs to happen to make the higher difficulties worth it, because it just isn't right now. But in terms of actually playing the game, I have a lot of fun. Flying never gets old to me. The combat never gets old. The weapons, yes, the weapons are still similar, but I actually like how some of these weapons shoot. And the Masterworks, I don't care what anybody says, the Masterworks do change the gun. Yes, the gun still shoots similarly, but like this Divine Vengeance, for instance, it's a 4-shot assault rifle burst, and I've used this gun. I used almost all the guns except for some of the pistols and stuff while I was leveling, and this isn't really a gun that I enjoy. But with the Masterwork version of it, I love this gun. Look at that. It shoots explosions when you get weak point kills. And you can just frequently do it. It's so nice. This Whirlwind sniper rifle, I actually kind of liked it before, but like the ice portion of it, it's amazing. So I don't agree with people that say the guns feel terrible or whatever. I think the Masterwork guns are definitely feel better, and even the base guns, they're not terrible. They really aren't. I think it's pretty fun actually. Another thing I want to go over is let's see. I went over the loot. I went over. Again, this is sort of informal. It's not something that I really planned out, but I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on the game. Oh yeah, there's definitely some glitches. Some Now I do have to say, Bioware did a great job at making quick play a lot better. The tether system in this game is really bad at times. So what was happening when I was going into quick play, it was extremely frustrating because what would happen is most of the time I would join quick play, it would put me into a broken game. The reason why it put me into a broken game is people are leaving broken games. So it made quick play look like it was a lot worse. It made the game look like it was a lot worse than it was because with all the broken missions people were getting, they were leaving. So almost every time somebody would join a quick play match, it would put them into a broken game because people left. However, I noticed that since the latest update they had, that hasn't happened that much. And the reason is the tether system. So when you get too far away from a teammate, the way the normal tether system is supposed to work is when you get too far away from a teammate, uh, well, when a teammate goes forward in a mission too far from the other teammates, then they'll teleport them. They'll have a countdown, and they'll teleport you to the thing. So what was happening in a lot of contracts, a lot of legendary contracts, which are random, something would happen to break the game to where whenever you tried to go towards the objective, it would actually start the tether system. Even though nobody was there, it would start the tether system, and it'd be like a 10-second cooldown, and everybody gets teleported. Well, the person, if you're too far away, you get teleported back to start. And that made it impossible to progress because you would just keep getting tethered back before you could reach the destination. And that was the most frustrating thing ever. I actually completed all of my quick plays during that time, and it was terrible. They made a update though recently that made it so that the tether system wouldn't activate as often. Like it was a much further range before it activated. And ever since then, I have not gotten into a single quick play match where the thing was broken because of the tether system. Now there's still some broken games, of course. There's still certain things that have objectives that are broken. There's broken quests still, but I can actually complete quick play matches now. I can actually get into a game. Now, if I get into a game and I see most of the time, if I see that it's a legendary contract, I can usually complete it, and I think that's fantastic. They definitely made huge changes there. There's still broken quests for sure, but they made great changes in that department. Something else that they need to work on is the thing is the story. The story was average. I mean, people that like I am a huge Bioware fan. Like I'm not gonna lie, and but because of that, I do have criticisms of the story. The story definitely, when you compare it to a Bioware game, the story just wasn't that great. However, I do think that the interactions they have in the game are great. When you go to Fort Tarsus, the talking now, yes, a lot of people really don't like having to go walk, and I think the problem with that is just walking around Fort Tarsus sucks. Like that's just straight up, it sucks because it's slow. Even when you push the run button, it's slow. You're in first person for some reason when the whole game is in third person, and it is a chore walking around and talking to all the people. However, the actual talking portion I enjoy. I think that it does feel like a Bioware game. Yeah, your choices do not impact the world around you, but I wasn't expecting that. There's some things that you just have to accept, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that they should have a lower quality game, but this it's just not that type of game. Like it's not the kind of game where you're gonna make a bunch of moral choices, where you're gonna make a bunch of things that give you like light and dark side or renegade and paragon points. It's not that kind of game. However, I did feel like I was making certain choices, which you only have usually two. I did feel like my choices were impacting the game, not necessarily the game, but that particular relationship. And I think that the side relationships are really done well. Here's the problem though. I enjoyed talking with all the people, even if I had to walk to them. I enjoyed the little side stories. I was genuinely invested in these characters. But once you finish these stories, that's it. A lot of them, or I wouldn't say a lot of them, but some of them just go away. You don't see them again. And then other ones they're still there, but you can't like talk to them. I mean, they'll say something when you go near them, but there's no dialogue options. There's once you've completed all the side, missions, all the faction missions, talk to everybody in Fort Tarsus, there's nobody else to talk to. That's great for people that, didn't want to talk to them to begin with, but I like the people. I want to keep talking to them. Even in, like Mass Effect and Natural Republic and stuff like that. Even if you've completed basically a, quest line, like even the Old Republic, it's an MMO. Once you've completed like a companion's quest line or whatever, you can still talk to them. They would still periodically give you stuff or, whatever. You would still be able to communicate with them. And you can't do that in Anthem. And I think that's a real shame because I think they did a great job at these conversations. And it feels so different than other, looter shooters in that regard. Another thing about the strongholds, this one's a little tricky. So I'm doing Tyrant Mine right now, as most people will have done so many times before. But they wanted to make it so that they didn't have specific loot in each stronghold because they didn't want people, to have to. They wanted to give people choice. So the reason why they did not put specific loot, all the strongholds share the same loot. It's just random loot, because they wanted people to have a choice. Like if I want to play one of the other strongholds, I can. If I wanted to do that, the problem is, because of the way the strongholds are set up, people just farm mostly Tyrant Mine, or even the Temple of Scar stronghold, because there's no reason to play a harder stronghold, because I'm not going to get better gear, I'm not going to get anything, it's just going to take longer for the same reward. So, everybody's doing Tyrant Mine. And since enemies dropped it, a lot of times people are not even, doing the boss. They're just farming the first 2 chests and then leaving the boss, because the boss drops right now are set. So it is a problem. They gave players choice, but by giving players choice, they also kind of didn't. If that makes any sense. Since everything drops the same stuff, just farm the easiest content in the game, and that's just. They should probably do something about that. But I do still enjoy it though. I've done this so many times, but I still enjoy doing it because, again, the core gameplay. If I had to give a score on this game based on just the gameplay and the combat, it would definitely be a 10 out of 10. I never have gotten tired of playing. There's never been a time when I'm just like, you know what? I really just don't enjoy killing these enemies. Like, I just don't enjoy playing the game. That's never happened. I've been disappointed for sure with drops that I've gotten. That would greatly help the game. Again, Masterworks, BioWare, let them drop more frequently. I've been disappointed with glitches or whatever, but overall, it hasn't made me hate the game. I haven't just disliked the game and just not wanted to play it. Whenever I take breaks, do other things, I want to come back and play this game. And that's just with the content. And again, there's going to be more content. Now, it definitely dropped with light content, especially the last stronghold, Heart of Rage. I think that's a little unacceptable. Why is there only 3 strongholds in the game, and one of them is a story mission? On top of that, that stronghold, like the actual mission itself, I think is pretty cool. The stronghold version of it is way too long. Like, the boss has way too much health. I don't understand why, they did that. I think that it definitely should have launched. Here's my personal opinion with just the game overall. I think the game should have waited about a month or 2, especially with what they have planned out. I think the game should have waited about a month or 2 to come out, at least 1 month, and then basically everything is going to be in March. I think the game should have launched maybe at the end of March, beginning of April, and the base game had everything that's going to be in the March update. And maybe even wait till a little bit later in April and have some of the stuff like the guild things and others in the extra stronghold. I think the game would have definitely benefited more if it launched in that state. However, again, I'm still having fun. And that's really what you should take away from this little informal review and just the game in general. Do you have fun playing the game? And some people just aren't gonna have fun playing the game. Like some people just want the extra content, and that's understandable. But I do think that overall the game is being judged a little too harshly in certain situations. I'm not saying that it's an amazing game and that BioWare shouldn't be critiqued. They definitely should. But when people are saying that the game is just terrible or it's a failure or or BioWare has fallen, I think that's being way too harsh and that's being way too, unfair to the game because the core game is here. It's fun. It's fantastic in my opinion. But there are other things bringing it down and people are really just tired of it. I can understand that. People are tired of getting games that don't have as much content at start, and they don't like that system. That's the system, unfortunately, that a lot of companies are doing now, where they'll live service games they'll come out with a light content version of the game, and then they add a bunch of stuff and fixes later on. Some of which definitely should have been in the base game, but if I will say if you do have fun with the game as I do now, you can still like it's going to be a good game. I know that's something that a lot of people have said before, like just wait, and it's some people just don't want to wait. But personally, I think that you're just kind of missing out if you just write the game off forever just because it launched in a weak state, if you will. Because once they add a lot more content, like once April comes, May when Cataclysms comes, the game's gonna be fantastic. And I know that a lot of fans or other people that started with the game, it might be too late for them because people just don't like going back to things. But personally, I think that if you enjoy the game or you have any sort of fun with it, it's a game to stick with. Even if you want to take a break for now, that's fine. But it's gonna be even better once all this extra content comes out. And that's what I really want to bring attention to is just looking forward for the game. Sure, take a break now if you want. Come back when there's more content. I know that's an old saying, but it's true. It's going to be a much better game, and I know there's other stuff. Division 2's around the corner. I'm gonna be playing Division 2, but I'm still gonna be playing Anthem. I'm still going to do content on Anthem as well as Division. Destiny. The big updates coming out for Destiny pretty soon, and that I'm genuinely excited about that. I'm gonna get back into playing Destiny, but I'm somebody that enjoys all of these games, and I'm going to play all of them. And even if I take a break, even if I need to stop playing, that's fine. I don't think you need to have a game. Every game doesn't need to have like 24/7 content, right? It doesn't need to be a game that you're playing solely. Now, for some people, they want that, but as for me, I think this is perfectly fine because once Division 2 comes out, I can take a break from Anthem, and that's fine. That lets me, take a break, get used to playing another game, and then when I come back, once there's more content for Anthem, then it's like, oh man, look at all this content that's in the game now, or I missed this game. Like anytime you play a game, even me with my like 150 hours or whatever, anytime you play a game this much for a short amount of time, you're gonna get tired of it. Now I haven't quite gotten tired of it yet, but I can definitely see how other people would get tired of it. Sorry for kind of rambling on, but it's just something I really wanted. I really wanted to make a video on it because I do think I've just seen many people recently just sort of give up on the game when I think that I'd really think there's a good thing for this game. And again, the lore, which I haven't talked about, I think the lore is solid. There's the story itself wasn't that great, sure, but there is some great lore, and it's just the beginning of the game. I can't wait to see it. I think they've done their job because I genuinely cannot wait to see where the story goes and to learn more about the world. I'm gonna do my first lore video. It's just gonna go over the basics of like the shapers and the Anthem of Creation, and then kind of my speculation on them and like what happened. I'm like that's probably my biggest question right now is like what happened to the shapers? Why did they leave? These are questions that I definitely want to know the answers to, and BioWare has a real opportunity there to answer these questions and have some cool moments come out. Just like Destiny, there's a lot of cool lore in Destiny, even before in Destiny 1 when a lot of people weren't about the story. There's some really interesting stuff in there. And Anthem also has some really interesting stuff and has the potential to have even more. There's a lot of things. The Legion of Dawn. The game sort of does the Legion of Dawn a sort of disservice in the base game. We learn about some of them, and there's some cool moments, but I want to see more of them. I want to learn more about their history and you know, why were they so epic? So there's a lot of lore stuff. There's a lot of other things that are coming towards or coming in the future, and I definitely am asking those questions. What's going on? I want to know what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on with my group right now. Somebody has. Okay, I guess he has it. But yeah, I want to know what's going on. I'm interested in the new weapons and stuff that's coming out. I'm having a ton of fun playing the game, and that's really all you need to take away from this review and of Anthem in general. Don't worry about what the people are saying. Don't worry about if they're saying it's good. Don't worry about if people are saying it's bad. Look at the game yourself. Try it out maybe if you have Xbox or PC. Get if you have Origin access, EA access, you can try it out. Um, see for yourself. How do you enjoy the game? Is it fun? And don't worry about all the other people. If you're somebody that like checks Reddit or Discord and stuff like that, don't let that depress you. I was getting depressed watching these reviews on YouTube, watching these people talk about the game on Reddit, and I just stopped, honestly. And I'm having a lot of fun with the game. If you're having fun, if you enjoy the game, that's all that matters. That's what games are meant to be. They're meant to be fun. You're meant to enjoy them. It's entertainment. People get so caught up on certain things about a game and they don't stop to think, is this fun? And again, it's not going to be okay, really. Yeah, sorry, getting sidetracked again, but I'm not. What is going on with? Okay, I see what's going on here. Nobody actually went to get the other thing. Anyway, yeah, if the game is fun, play the game. Don't worry about other people. There's going to be plenty of other people that enjoy the game. If you can get some people to play with, I'm usually playing solo now on PC, but it's still fun. And if you can get a group together, it's even more fun. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to ramble on anymore, but my closing remarks is the game definitely has some issues. There's definitely some problems that shouldn't be here. There's definitely things that they should have launched with, but they have done a good job at adding stuff in pretty frequently, even though it should have been there from the start. And there's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot better in the future. And if you enjoy the game, just play it. It's a fun game in my opinion. There's some really good stuff going on there, and I think that people are going to miss out because they're taking reviews too seriously or whatever. So just Anthem's fun. Try it for yourself. If you like it, stick with it. It's just going to get better from here. So that was a lot longer than I anticipated, but hope you enjoyed that, even though I rambled on a little bit. My just kind of raw thoughts on Anthem. And if you want to see more content, I'm going to still be doing Anthem stuff. I'm going to be doing stuff on Division and other things, so subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of that. Give a like, it really helps out. And as always, thanks for watching.